Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MCDFNL Footy Show for another week, second edition for the year, with the 2016 season well and truly in full swing now. A full complement on the MCDFNL Footy Show this week. Shaun Kelly's my name as the host. On my left is our season co-host for 2016. Decided to wag the first edition of the Footy Show, but he's here for edition number 2. Sam Gowers, welcome to season 2016.
Thanks, mate. Glad to be back alongside you for a big, exciting 2016 in the MCDFNL.
Just thought you need an extra week of preparation?
Yeah, just needed to prepare myself, do my hair a bit, so back for week 2.
You've done all right too. A little bit of a weave in front there. It's looking quite nice.
Yours is going backwards. Actually.
Yes, I know it is. It's a bit tough, but we might have to start wearing hats. So if there's any good apparel sponsors out there that want to sponsor the Footy Show, feel free to hook us up with a few hats, and we'll get those going as well. Also joining us this week, making his first appearance on the MCDFNL Footy Show, is the operations manager of the league, Jake Dunne. Dunny, welcome, mate. Welcome to the Footy Show.
Thanks for having me, Shawnee.
Absolute pleasure having you here, and we've got you in to help talk about the first talking point for the week, the 2016 season launch at Princes Park on Friday night. A fantastic event. Kevin Sheedy, absolutely fantastic. Just when we thought he was going to finish, he then spoke for another 20 minutes and was really, really entertaining.
Yeah, Sheeds was terrific, and it was a great turnout by all the clubs, and the support for the event was terrific. Having Sheeds there to share his experience at AFL level and his love for the game was a great highlight. He's definitely touched on a few important aspects to community football for us, and it was awesome to have him there.
He is indeed. We also spoke to Luke Tracy straight after Sheeds, which was a hard act for LT to follow, and he mentioned that as well. But we started talking about the Interleague campaign, which we'll touch on more in future weeks, but good to hear from LT very early on to give us a bit of an idea of what's in store for Interleague this year.
Yeah, it was good to hear from LT. I've been in touch with him regularly over the last few months, and he's really passionate about the Interleague program and really putting in a strong campaign this year. So, we'll obviously touch on that in later editions, but definitely great to hear from LT on the weekend.
Yeah, it certainly was. But talking point number 2, Sammy, as all that was going on, there was a game of football being played outside at Princes Park under lights, which the Maryborough Rovers taking on Toll. But from what I saw, a pretty good game of footy as well. The third quarter in particular, the heat just rose a bit in the kitchen. Maryborough Rovers led for just about every second of the game, but did not win. Tell me what happened. Talbot getting over the line, literally with the ball that floated through the goals after the side. I was really impressed, Jake, with the way that Talbot was able to move the ball, especially out of the back line. They had some structure, moved it very well, having very high structure. He is their quarterback across half-back, but there was some really good ball movement on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree with you there. Having seen Matt Smith in that second half really step up and provide a lot of structure and rebound for them, and really was a massive reason for their forays forward. So, yeah, Smithy was terrific, and their ball movement is such a highlight there. Yeah,
well, we're talking about people with hairlines marching backwards. Good afternoon to you, Sherman. Talking point number 3, the performance of the Dunne Football Club on the weekend. Didn't get a win, but got within 2 goals of a team that many are tipping to be top 4 material this year in Royal Park. After they were in a bit of turmoil a few weeks ago, which Sammy wrote about in the Maryborough Advertiser, good to see Dunne up and about and being really competitive.
Yeah, it was, and it was great for the league and especially for the Dunne Footy Club to start the year in such a positive manner. Hopefully they can build on that and really shake things up a little bit this year. They proved that they've obviously put a playing list together that's capable of giving a few teams a fright and obviously getting some results throughout the season.
Yeah, really good performance by the Eagles on the weekend. Did you think that it shows more that they're on the improve, or do you reckon Bushy had a dud day, or how did you read that result?
No, I certainly think Dunne are on the improve. They've got a new coach this year, added some really quality players to the list, including forwards, which they lacked last year.
Yep, and he's one of them as well.
Yeah, I think that showed on the weekend that they got close to the Tigers, who are going to be a quality team again this year.
Yeah, they did indeed. Just working with technology here on the MCDFNL Footy Show throughout season 2016, and sometimes technology does let us down a bit. So as we get this week's games up, we thank the good folk at Telstra for helping us out with our technology needs this year. Starting with the game between Maldon and Harcourt, Chief. Harcourt, probably unexpected losers on the weekend. Maldon had a tough day against Campbell's Creek. Interesting game coming up. Which way are you going?
I think Harcourt for me, Shawnee. I think that they might just have a little bit too much class across the board. yeah, I expect them to probably just get the job done this weekend.
Yep, Samuel?
Yeah, like you said, Sean, Harcourt probably a bit of a surprise loss last weekend, but I think they'll bounce back against Malton this week.
Yeah, Harcourt for me as well. Campbell's Creek taking on Talbot at the Cricket Dome this week. And this will be a very interesting game. 2 round 1 winners, 2 teams that, as we know, were fighting for a similar position in the top 8 last year. Both of them end up making it. Will they both make it this year? This game could be, obviously it's very early, but a determinant factor.
Yeah, good start's always important. I'm going to back the Hawks in this one. Campbell's Creek had a lot of player losses over the off-season. I know they got the points last week, but I think Talbot might just be too good this week.
Yeah, going with Talbot myself, I was pretty impressed with what I saw last Friday night. Jake, which way are you going in this one, please?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with both of you lads. Talbot for me as well.
This is very scary that we're agreeing on everything in the first 2 rounds. Denali taking on Avoca this weekend. Interesting game in light of last week's result for Denali, and Avoca obviously having a bit of a stilted pre-season and have had a lot of player losses as well. So this could be a very, very interesting game of football.
Yeah, if you had asked me before round 1, I probably would have gone with Avoca, but I'm going to back Denali after their good showing against Royal Park.
I must admit, I'm actually in the same boat. I was thinking about this last week and thought, yeah, Avoca, not a problem. But then looking at the results last week, I'm thinking Denali at home might be half a chance, Jake.
Yeah, I think Denali are a great chance this week, and I'll be tipping them as well. I think Avoca will put up a bit of a fight with the midfield battle, but I think Denali should get the job done.
Yeah, good one. We're all picking Denali as well. This one, I think we'll all be tipping this way as well, but this will be a very interesting game of football. Lexington versus Navarre. Absolutely no love lost between these 2 teams over the years that have put on some absolute rippers for us at some pretty important times of the season. Sammy, 42 in a row for the Hoppers as it stands at the moment. Lexington couldn't get the job done against your Swannies last week. Can they rebound against the benchmark?
No, unfortunately for Matt Brown, I don't think they can. I think Navarre will make it 43 wins on the trot.
Matt Brown in good form at the season launch on Friday night as well, just sampling some sponsors' product there and doing quite a nice job at looking after himself. Can he get up and about against the Hoppers this week?
I don't think so, Shawnee. I think it's probably just a task that's too big. But in saying that, they've got plenty of class, Lexington, and I think they'll give them a shake for a half.
Yeah, I think so as well. But it will be number 43 for the Hoppers, striding towards that half century, and hopefully for them being able to raise the bat mid-season for their half-century. Maryborough Rovers taking on Natty Bialaba at Princes Park on Saturday as well. Is that correct, that this game is at Princes Park, Jake?
It is at Princes Park.
2 in a row at Princes Park for the Maryborough Rovers, and your Swannies get to have a run around on the finals ground, Sammy.
Yeah, they certainly do have a bit of an early look before September. I'm going to go with the Swans, obviously. But Rovers have certainly showed that they're going to be an improved side this year. Any
love in the midday show from any familiar faces that we're going to see?
No, a bit of a different look at the Swans this year. No Brent Mortlock, who's retired. Maybe no Zach Perez, no Matt Stagg. So a few different faces for Natty, which will be good to see.
The Wiz?
The Wiz should be there.
Up and about?
Up and about.
Good to
Helmet
hear.
on.
Good.
Tucked in.
Yeah, get around the Wiz. He is my man, as long-time viewers of the Footy Show know. Jake, much improved performance by the Rovers last weekend. They showed that they're going to be a good football side, but to really be taken seriously, they need a scalp such as Natty on the weekend. Can they do it?
I think they're capable. I think some of the players that they brought into the club will definitely help them go a long way to beating a side like Natty. But I don't think it'll happen this weekend. I think Natty will just be a little bit too strong. I think Daniel Vidala's a player who will be a really good pickup for Natty throughout the year. And I think they'll just have a little bit too much firepower.
Natty for mine as well. The bloke on my left kicking me under the table to make sure I tipped Natty. Carisbrook taking on Royal Park under the lights at Royal Carisbrook on Saturday night. This will be an absolute ripper, Sammy. Obviously, the Brook going down last week against Navarre. No shame at losing to Navarre there. And, of course, Bushy a win by not as much as what we expected over Denali, but they'll be cherry ripe for this one. Good to see Jackson Bowen, the big hard hat, back in Carisbrook colours last week.
Yeah, it certainly was, and a lot of new additions to the Carisbrook side this year, which I think will make them a stronger outfit than last year, even though they don't have the likes of Matt Bilton this year, and I think they'll just be too strong for the Tigers.
Yeah, I think they will as well. Big Nath watches on as well. We've already had a couple of people say we're going to keep an eye on him for you this year for the Footy Show, so if he puts foot out of line, we're going to know about it, and you're going to know about it as well, Footy Show audience. Jake, Carisbrook versus Royal Park, how do you see this one unfolding?
For me, this is probably match of the round, I think, on Saturday night. Obviously, Carisbrook are a really strong side and have been for a number of years. Royal Park picking up a couple of pretty players in the off-season. I think Carisbrook by just under a couple of goals.
Yeah, it will be a very good game, there's no doubt about that. And then Sunday night football to finish off the round. We had Friday night football. We're going to have Sunday night football in the MCDFL as well, of course, with Monday being Anzac Day. Trentham taking on Newstead. Trentham making Anzac Day their own. They've done a fantastic job with it over the last couple of years, and good on them for having the night fixture this week. And this will be a pretty good game of footy because 2 round 1 winners. And I tell you, if that Carisbrook Royal Park game wasn't there, this would be my match of the round.
Yeah, mine too, and it might even be yet, Sean. You don't hear much out of Trentham during the off-season, but obviously they've picked up big time, and so their round 1 win over Avoca would dictate.
Yep.
But Newstead as well, Nathan Webster told us last year that last year was a rebuilding year.
Yep.
And that certainly paid off for them. They were impressive last week, and I'm going to go with the Roos.
Yeah, Roos for me as well. I like the way they've gone about things. Minimal fuss during the pre-season, Jake, and just really rebuilding their list to the point where I was standing at Princess Park last week and I heard top 4 whispers about the Roos this year. So they are going along nicely. However, Trentham at home under lights is a very, very different experience for a lot of sides. It takes them getting used to, especially if it was like last Saturday night where the cold and the wind came in fairly early.
Yeah, I'm actually going with Trentham here. I'm going to disagree with both of you boys.
Good.
And I think they'll get the chocolates. I just think that they're going to be a side that's probably pushing for a top 4 berth this year and really on the improve. So Trentham for me.
Twilight fixture, 6 p.m. first bounce, but get there a little bit early because there will be an Anzac ceremony before the game down at Trentham. Boys, thank you very much for joining us this week. Brings us to the end of the Footy Show for the week. Firstly, Jake, thank you for being on board, mate. We'll get you on board every now and then, especially as we get more towards Interleague to give us a bit of an update about what's happening there before we get LT on in Interleague week, of course. But thanks for joining us for your MCDFL Footy Show debut.
No worries, Shawnee. Thanks for having me, guys.
Sammy, thank you for joining as well. Good to finally see you here, mate. And we'll make sure that we set the alarm every week and just get here on time so that we can get the Footy Show done and dusted pretty early.
Very happy to be back alongside you for 2016, mate.
I'm very happy to be here for 2016, is all of us here on the MCDFNL Footy Show. We hope you enjoyed the show today, and we'll see you next week.